listen, I'm going to need your help on this one. I'm trying to understand. So like a week ago, nobody's really talking about Pump.fun. And then this week, everybody's talking about it. Last week, nobody's talking about OpenSea. And this week, everybody's talking about it. And the fact that we have the amount of TGEs that we do, if you haven't been paying attention, there's a lot. And we get into that on today's RWA SegMints Podcast that was dropped a little bit earlier. If you're wanting to check that out, highly recommend. Links down in the description below or my bio on X. But I want to also make kind of an argument of why I think we're seeing such a big uptick within the RWA space, which stands for real world assets. Every single stream we've come on here and talked about how collectible cards, Pokemon, everything else under the sun that's classified as an RWA has been doing phenomenally well. Now, that's also outside of like the crypto realm, but more specifically within the platforms that are offering something around RWAs. Why are they getting the attention? We're going to decipher why that is. Thank you so much for tuning on in. My name is Schiller. I've been talking about NFTs for quite some time. If you like the stream, would love for you to like and share it with a friend. We need everybody to share it once with a friend that's like good. And then listen, we will take over the crypto world. True. After a thorough process, Pixelvolt has agreed to sell the Wolf Game assets to Seedphrase, a community legend who was already invested in Wolf Game's success and fired up to carry it into the future. So the pivots, the acquisitions, the mergers, everything else under the sun. Why do we keep bringing it up? Well, because we are going to see much more of this sort of thing happening. Now, there's a couple different trains of thoughts with this, right? If you're somewhat new to the Web3 ecosystems, you have certain collections that have switched leadership that have done phenomenal. Two ones that come to mind, we got the likes of Pudgy Penguins and we got the likes of Moonbirds. Both of those collections look like, I don't really know how I'm feeling. And now everybody's like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's really funny that way. However, we've seen the opposite happen too, where off the top of my mind, I think that Knights of Degen was a collection that came out a while ago. They acquired I'm forgetting what the name of it was, but there was a dinosaur collection that was about mental health. And so they acquired that collection, they brought it in, and then I think Knights of Degen shut down. So like both of those kind of got rinsed on it, which it is what it is, right? Like I'm not trying to bash any of these collections. I'm just trying to say for yourself when you're getting in this industry and trying to figure out, you know, what we want to do. And then we have the likes of Gutter Cat Gang, which Gutter Cat Gang is a collection of cats that came out way back in the day. It's a very small collection per se, comparatively to a lot of these ones that are 10,000 collectibles. Those ones are only like 3,000 something. They did parties in Vegas. They did a couple of other things, and they've just like changed leaders repeatedly. And then I saw the other day that they were doing a collection on ordinals. And does that mean that Gutter Cat Gang could never come back? No. And me saying that they're doing something on ordinals isn't a diss over on ordinals, but it sort of feels bad that it goes from, all right, so we're doing these events, we're having these mints, these extra things, and then all of a sudden we are now doing more paid mints when the IP's not really been developed on, except for the fact that they've gone out and sponsored a summer 3v3 basketball tournament. I want to say like 2 years ago or something, right? Because it's all about like creating what these brands are. The point being, these are all over the place. So I have no idea what to think on this, except for the fact that I know for years, Seedphrase has been screaming about how bullish Wolf Game is. And at points, you know, talk of the town when it first came out. There was a time when it was over on blast, when every project was switching chains, trying to get some attention, right? And now they're becoming the owner of it. And this is the same thing with heavy metal and the Gabriel guy who just complained about heavy metal and Yuga forever. Now in charge with Adam Weitzman. Now, as I say all of this, there's like 5 to 10 people that might have understand every single word that I've said. And if you don't, you still watch, you're great. Thank you. You're great. Thank you. But Distress Pickle, what's going on? I've been getting offers on my NFL All Day NFTs. Are we back? Yo, if Pickle's cranking it over on NFL All Day, we got things coming. Yo, hello, Governor. What's up, Super Bowl? How are you doing? I appreciate you coming through so much. So I thought, all right, we see Wolf Game. If you Google search it, does it pop up? Like, Have you ever looked up Major League Soccer? You type in MLS. Maybe it might just be like my geolocation, but there's some like realtor company that comes up instead of Major League Soccer. So good to see. Oh, actually, my face is in the way, but Wolf Game is number 3 on the optionality here when you just type it in on Google. Whatever the hell this online Wolf Game is an exciting virtual Wolf Game that is free to play. We have role-playing elements with sim game features. That's not the Wolf Game we're talking about, but just reading it for the sake of it. Then there's Wolf Game Wild Animal Wars. Team up with wolves from all over the world to fight with other wolf packs. Hell yeah. And then a risky blockchain game between sheep and wolves. I don't know how like appetizing it is for the average person to come across this. So if you've never looked at the Wolf Game site, well, there you go. Opening screen says, friends, the caves have been blasted open by the agent of chaos known as WM. WM. All right, that's going to be a D grade for creativity. Prepare yourselves to, again, navigate the maze-like caves in a competitive search for treasure. This time on Blast mainnet. Good luck, players. So does this game end up staying over on Blast? Does it go to Abstract? What are we going to see for the pivots? Is the community still going to be there? Are they going to rally around Seedphrase? And this is sort of the importance of having people that have somewhat of a good repertoire, because I feel like sentiment and perspective is a huge thing, as well as track record for a lot of people. So yeah. Do we know if GaryVee sold out of Wolf Game? So immediately, holy geez, we're going to have to go down a history lesson, aren't we? So from my recollection, what happened was when Wolf Game first came out, there was a huge demand for everything. And the idea was that you could earn wool token. And the wool token was going for like crazy valuations. People were making like literally $20,000 in a day. Like, it was like not even joking. So if you happen to get in early on it, you were cooking. And there was a number of alpha wolves. And it was said, all right, at some point you are going to be able to work with these wolves and have kind of like an event like Castle Wars or Clan Wars. I don't know the right way to phrase it. But before that got implemented, it was just a passive. You had these NFTs, you got the token. There was like really nothing else going on. It was very similar to what happened with the big coin over on Abstract. But with this, the catch with it is because it's a risky game, right? That if you had a wolf, you could actually like steal a sheep, or you could steal what that sheep had earned. So that's where the risky business came in, and people were paying fortunes for it. And then eventually, right, because it doesn't all happen right away, there was a game that opened up, and you were able to take your wolves, take your sheep, and then dedicate to a specific leader, and they were able to go out and fortify their base or attack somebody else. And there was no visuals attached to this. It was just, it happened, right? You click a button and you're like, all right, I'm defending. So it was this like big, huge war between different people. There was groups that joined together to try to take down one group, reinforce another, whatever the hell it is. And so to Pickle's thing, asking about GaryVee, GaryVee was somebody who had one of the alpha wolves. And so we gave it to, I think it was a person called JMO. I don't know if that's his brother or somebody that's like a head of comms for him, but there was somebody that was running like the experience and event under that alpha wolf for him. So GaryVee might have sold out, but I think if it did happen, technically it was owned by another person. But with GaryVee being involved, that also was one of the reasons why Wolf Game got so much attention, because it was like, oh, okay, like, do we go join like GaryVee's team? But the fact that he wasn't like actually in it and it was just somebody else, and like lost a little bit. So Klaus is saying that they have never seen crypto this fun. So what do we got saying? Pump.fun pushing creator markets and streamers, and they're making 5 to 6 figures. Okay, apparently I need to get on Pump.fun. Polymarket and Myriad dominating prediction markets mindshare for real-world assets and Pokemon collectibles. They've been gaining heat on a whole bunch of different platforms, which is amazing. OpenSea's flagship collection, plus final rewards, phase and pull, which we'll get into in a moment, but OpenSea's been buying NFTs, and they have a very unique way for you to potentially earn more of their token coming up. The Punk strategy experimenting with the NFT and token flywheel via DAT. We played a video yesterday. There was a quick kind of like 2-minute breakdown of somebody explaining. Basically, there's a new token that has a sales tax on it that is used to buy crypto punks, and then they're listed at like 1.2x the floor. And they've bought in like 7 or something crazy. Like it's insane. It's insane. Moonbirds selling 1.7 million of physical collectibles in 24 hours. And then the impending Pengu ETF. So let's talk about this for a second regarding the Moonbirds physical collectibles. Because I opened the show and I think that we are looking at things maybe a little bit strangely, for lack of a better term. So let's decipher this. How many of you have gotten into various NFTs and one way or another, there is some form of change? Whether it happened before a token event, changed from the original roadmap, whatever. Everybody's hands up, right? Like everybody's experienced that sort of thing, 100%. Now, what's different about the real world assets side of things is that you know exactly what you're going to get, and there is basically nothing that can end up changing what that is. So when you see the likes of somebody buying a tokenized Pokemon card, they're like, you know, I get exactly what I want, and there's speculation to it, sure, but you know for sure there's not going to be anything that, whether it be a positive surprise or a negative surprise, you don't have that anymore. You have a little bit of stability within your life, and people love stability. And I think that's one of the reasons that we're seeing such a big RWA collectibles push narrative taking over the timeline the last little bit, because you'll scroll on the timeline and every day there is some just hootenanny going on. It doesn't make any sense within like the NFT space of the traditional Web3 only collectible side of things. So I think that's one of the really big reasons for the physical collectibles doing so well, which again, we saw the Moonbirds collection do what 1.7 million in sales, and we don't know what it is, and it's supposed to be deflationary. We would assume. JC, what's up? Hey, Shiller, I know this is off topic, but you think Kronos will join with Coinbase? Is Kronos a network? I need to do a little bit more research. Kronos sounds really familiar. I feel like Coinbase is going to do a lot to push the Base network, and anything that is connecting it to Base will probably get a bump. So is Kronos doing anything with Base right now, or what's the insight? I'm curious. But good to see you. Distress Pickle, book game still a thing? I know I still have a box of books somewhere. I got the book next. You want to bring the book on screen? Nah. The book games are still around. I think they're, so if you go to Token Trove, I think Immutable has like other marketplaces that aren't just that, but give me 2 seconds here. I'll bring it up on the screen. The book games is number 9. Wow, they've really not done a whole lot. In terms of like the daily chart, let me switch that back over. So it's down 53% in 24 hours for some reason, which is kind of crazy, but the lowest ask is $181 if you still got one of the book games NFTs, which again were from buying one of GaryVee's books. Back in the day, they had different frames and were able to get something for doing collectibles. Not doing collectibles, buying X amount of his books. Distress Pickle, regarding the conversation a second ago regarding the RWAs, that's cap. No one loves stabling in crypto. Camp Moon being stable. If stability was loved, we'd be on an island right now, but we didn't cash out. Okay, so good thought. I like the rebuttal. This is good. We're like in a UFC fight, but I feel like you're taller and bigger than me and probably have more experience in bar fights and shit. I'm just screwing with you. So, okay, when we talk about stability though, like I think having a stable coin is different than saying I have a collectible that is going to not go up a bajillion % in a year, but it's also not going to go down a bajillion % in a year. And we have to say the word bajillion because we've seen things go from, $60,000 to basically zero, which is like a bajillion. True. So I think I'm just trying to take it from more that angle, and I agree. There's not that much interest in stabling lately, even though there's all this talk about stablecoin. I don't see any. And again, am I having like conversations directly with everybody, being like, "Hey, tell me your exact portfolio. What are you doing day to day?" No, but definitely don't feel like the sentiment of anybody that's holding some sort of crypto is having rather large stablecoin positions. but maybe I'm wrong. Educate me. Justin, NVIDIA is now worth more than Canada. Okay, phenomenal. And Brian Armstrong, with that awareness, decided to put out a banger proposition. The interest rate for most checking accounts is 0% in Canada, and that makes 0 sense. So, from today, all Canadians can earn 4.1% uncapped rewards on USDC on Coinbase and up to 4.5% with Coinbase One. Nice. Honest question, when have you ever used a stablecoin? When have I ever used a stablecoin? So on the Moonbirds mint for that like physical collectible thing that was like $25, that they forced you to buy in a stablecoin. NBA Top Shot, the entire platform forces you to buy. I don't know. It's like fiat, but like arguably stablecoin, you know what I mean? Like that one's like kind of a gray area, just a wee little bit in terms of the definition. But I guess it's not, but it is pegged to the dollar on that sense. But yeah, I guess the Moonbirds won the other day, but I still think that it's surprising that we don't have more mints within stablecoins. But then the same thing, like, I mean, you go to a centralized exchange, are you going and buying USDC, USDT, whatever, the PayPal USD? Like, are you going out and doing that, or are you just buying like ETH and then like full sending it on something right now? And I mean, I guess that also comes on like from where you entered the space from, because there's a lot of people where I said, you know, you buy ETH, you do this stuff. There's a lot of people that only do Solana, right? Or maybe they only do BNB, and everybody's kind of got their own interest on that front. So a lot from Pump.fun. We're currently dealing with the most insane amount of inbound we've ever dealt with, squashing bugs and supporting existing eco projects. The sheer demand by high quality people and teams to not just create, but to invest in the space is much bigger than anyone thinks. Higher. We're going higher and higher. Higher off the ground. It's like Teo Cruz or something, right? There's like 5 of you that'll get that. Hell yeah. I don't think it is. It could be wrong. No. I don't think Dapper's considered a stable coin, but I guess just for like argument's sake, I'm trying to think of what platforms or places take like a stable dollar, right? I mean, like Dapper credits, like just like $1 or whatever, versus something that is only in like a specific cryptocurrency in of itself. So have you ever actually gone to the Pump.fun website to see what the streamers look like, what it shows? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but that's why we're here to kind of discuss and experience together. So how it works, Pump allows anyone to create coins. All coins created on Pump are fair launch, meaning everyone has equal access to buy and sell when the coin is first created. So step 1, pick a coin that you like. Step 2, buy the coin on the bonding curve. And step 3, sell at any time to lock in your profits or losses. Like that they say, or losses. It's great. Now, I don't know. I know that they're kind of like, you can pretty much stream whatever on here. So listen, we're getting shirtless people already on the screen. So we're gonna close that one out. But imagine we're doing this, but you're doing it on that platform, and I launch a token, and then all of a sudden, maybe Pickle puts in $5, and then, oh my goodness, that coin suddenly has value that currently had nothing. Then you go down the list, and we've seen some interesting fallouts from people that are not really in the crypto industry that have decided to launch something on that platform, and we'll get into that in a minute because it's a little spicy. This 12-fold by Yuga Labs just sold for $19,000. Art on Bitcoin. So a little bit of a history lesson here for Yuga Labs, the creators of Bored Ape Yacht Club. They decided when ordinals were getting really hot initially, which ordinals are just NFTs but on Bitcoin instead of Ethereum NFTs, and there's BNB NFT. You can go down the list. There's Solana NFTs. There's a whole bunch of different networks that have NFTs associated with them. And for Bitcoin, they are called ordinals. And so Yuga Labs, they hired this artist and they got 12-fold, which is a bunch of, I want to say these are like generative pieces that are different colors, that are different shapes, but it's blobs, I guess. I don't know how you're exactly supposed to break that down. So when I mentioned earlier about how Guttercat Gang is launching an ordinals collection, I mean, we're seeing something on the ordinals front from Yuga sell for $19,000. How many people do we think are interested in Guttercat Gang NFTs over on ordinals? Is this going to spark a little bit of a run? Probably not. This is like a single transaction, but the point being there is that we can kind of go down a list and see of what the other collections in an ecosystem can do. So OpenSea, I've gone through and I clicked the original button, which gave me a chest. I got like, I don't know, like the I think second worst treasure. I think I only did like 1,000 XP in Voyages for this, but the concept with it is that you allegedly we're thinking that it's going to be about another 2 months of OpenSea doing this. It's going to be this month and then another month following. Adam Hollander, who was recently hired by OpenSea, made some kind of comment from that, and that's what everybody's been pitching regarding it. So expect about 2 months. But here's what these voyages are. So this is how you could potentially get an allocation to this OpenSea drop. And I'm trying to think of it from a different perspective, because for a large majority, we're probably like, all right, yeah, we've done this sort of things before. We understand airdrops. But think about anybody that's new within the space. Do they have any sort of like brand affiliation to OpenSea, or are interested in, hey, you know what? I've never gotten an airdrop before. Let me figure out how to do this. And so what would you need to do? Here's the 3 different ones. You buy an NFT from a verified collection on Ethereum. This has got to be a $10 minimum, and then it'll also show you all the collections for there. You can buy a gaming NFT from a verified collection on any chain. You only need to spend $5 for that one. And then the last one, at least available right now, buy NFT from a verified collection on any chain, but you have to spend a $50 minimum. Now, the catch with this that I do like is that if you buy the one that's like $50, you'll also cross off the one that's $10. Duh. But still, kind of a nice touch for that one. And then also it says buy a gaming NFT from a verified collection. So all you need to do is find a gaming categorized NFT that's about $50, and then boom, you've got all 3 of them, and then you have 250 plus 100 plus 50 XP points. You're at like 400. So why am I pausing? Well, because I think the concept of having a point system for this is great. I mean, listen, we all want to have a little bit of FOMO. We want to look at these things. It's phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. But why are we making people buy NFTs that they don't want, that they're immediately going to probably list lower, and then everybody's taking the losses, and we're redoing what Blur's doing, and then it's just going to be kind of bad, and then you resort back to the RWAs and being like, okay, do I want to buy a Pokemon card? And then it's like, oh, hold on, maybe these different platforms offer that sort of thing, and then I could buy something that I actually want versus something that's speculative, but then I need to spend $50 for it, and then we're going to have to farm this for 2 months, and what are we doing? It feels just like sort of weird the way that like this is being done. I think, again, like, it's cool. Everybody's going to have different point systems, but it just sort of feels bad that we're, like, encouraging people to buy something that they don't want. But they get the royalty fees, whatever else. I get it. We'll kind of see what ends up happening with that. The Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Melker, saying, I don't really think we are still early. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, maybe this is disengagement farming, but I would fully disagree. Why? Well, do you know anybody that uses BNB chain? No? Oh. Well, it just reached an all-time high of $950, and it's a new all-time high, not just the one from before. So, I mean, what does that bode? I'm not trying to like flame it. I literally don't know anybody that does anything on BNB chain, but there's an entire community out there that's huge. And what happens if, let's again, argument of a little bit of imagination here, you and I, what if BNB is like the number 2 and like vying up there and replaces some of these other top chains? Because BNB just gets massively adopted, or there's some kind of thing where, I mean, right now, right, everybody's got an iPhone. If you go back X amount of years, wasn't definitive that everybody had an iPhone. So could BNB, sort of like the iPhone, come out and then all of a sudden, a couple years down the line, it is everywhere. I'm not pushing for that or saying that's going to happen, but I'm trying to make an argument against the, well, we're not early anymore. Gold reached its new all-time high of $3,700. Guys, what's going on with the world? Something's broken? Wow. There's no way you're early to crypto. You can be early to gold at $3,700. Or, yeah, you know what? Better yet, let's go down and like look at XRP as an example, right? Because a lot of people seem to be liking XRP. So if I go back and be like, oh, okay, so at one point, this was going for, I don't know, less than a cent. Okay. And then at one point, it was at 3 cents. And then at another point, it was at $3.36. And now we're basically back at that all-time high-ish area around $3. And half the world is still completely against anything related to crypto. So sure, maybe you're not like less than a cent early in the XRP realm of things, but we literally have standards that are getting created as we're experiencing this. If that's not like the definitive, hey, you're kind of early because these things are getting formed, I'm going to tweak. Holy smokes. Big news. The Open Avatar Standards Working Group is here. The Open Avatar Standards. Do you have ever thought that avatars need a standard? It's insane. Led by Open, well, this case, so this is Open Page, but it's formerly Other Page. We're bringing the open metaverse together around one mission. Avatars that are interoperable, composable, intelligent, and truly owned by you with M Squared, Readyverse, Futureverse, Think Agents, Command Line, Beamable, Nifty Island, Inception Studio, Future Primitive, ERC, 6551, and Meebits. And there probably is going to be more that gets added to this. Like, how crazy is it that avatars have a standard? Because things are changing. Now, I got sent this earlier today. Did you know that you could buy like an individual Bitcoin miner? Apparently, they're like $100. And last year, there was like 15 or 20 of them that hit. And if they mined a Bitcoin, it's like a crazy, crazy payday. But it's very cool that we have kind of these smaller devices that you're able to just plug in the wall and bada boom, bada bing. You're good. You're dusted. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I like the space, but I'm fully aware that there's not enough time to pay attention to what's going on. There's hundreds of new things every single day, and everybody's got their own interest. But TMA is highlighting for us that shrimpers, okay, so we have a collection of generative shrimp. Listen, I love it. You ever seen Shark Tale and there's that shrink that's like, I have a family. It's great. Shrimpers is currently down over 50% after Anoma announced that they won't be getting any token allocation until season 2. Floor dumped from 0.24 ETH, which is like a lot, to ETH offers as low as 0.041. Floor currently sitting at 0.11 now. That's down like half, not more. Public mint was 0.2. I didn't see this in the timeline at all. I have like legitimately no idea. But why excuse me, why is generated shrimp coming out at 0.2 ETH in this sort of climate when ETH is as high as it is? They must have had some kind of crazy components to it. And again, I'm kind of learning this on the fly, so we're just having like our basic reactions, but Gorilla also adding to it. So Shrimper's floor just nuked by 70%. Horrible execution and misleading tactics from the team. Oh, what we talked about earlier about things happening, doing this, and you never know, and the stability, and then Pickles fudding, and then we're just beefing at the bar, me and him. True. I'm still waiting on an announcement, so some of my opinions could be wrong, but here's what went down. So free mint for Anoma's flagship collection. So it was a free, it says Shrimpers, right? That a person just said there was a 0.2 ETH mint. What? Entire Anoma team engage and hype it up. Shrimpers page begins engaging with airdrop speculation and valuation content. They post AI-written content, including, in quotes, Shrimpers sitting low, but not for long, as Anoma TGE approaches the token-generating event. Floor moves from 0.18 to 0.27 ETH. Anoma posts airdrop checker. Shrimpers only get an airdrop for Season 2, and then the floor nukes. And the weirdest part, you have to register for the airdrop, which expires in a week, yet the Shrimpers airdrop will only be at the end of Season 2, so what's the point of buying an NFT collection if registration is done? And so not only am I more confused than when we started this discussion, but apparently there's a whole bunch of people that got like screwed out of whatever they expected to get from it for generated shrimp. So when we talk about, we're living in a dystopian world almost, we might already be there, baby. Another one, the Mori USA stripe? What the hell is this? The Mori Yusa? It's like rabbit, sort of, but it's like a Pokemon rabbit looking thing. Team just announced staking via Yay Global, which is a ecosystem for consumer crypto. Very descriptive. Following the announcement, there were 6 one-of-one sold. So I don't know what this collection is. I have no idea what Yay Global is, but people are spending an ETH on these for some of the one-of-ones. Love it. But there's so much going on every single day. It's crazy. Now, not to repeat 3 for 3 here on TMA posts, but I saw this earlier. I was like, you know what? This is worth bringing up. Because what happened not that long ago, we had every collection that was of significance going out and launching stickers on Telegram. Well, because it makes them a little bit of cashola, of course, but it gets the brand out there. And Tuah was the talk of the town, you know, month, 2 months ago, whatever it is. We did almost like an entire stream just talking about what's going on with Tuah. And then this is the first time that I've seen something about it in quite some time. But 10 animated stickers, good vibes club. We played the video yesterday of their ad with Google. Interesting to see. What's hot and what's not? Do you guys ever do the high school yearbooks? And there was a class for it traditionally. And on a couple of the pages, they had a hot or not for that year, whether it was like iPhones, the Tom slippers. I'm trying to think of like what other weirds. They had like images of certain artists at the time, which ones were hot, which ones were not. And that's something to kind of think about on a day-to-day basis. So if I ask the question, do you think the Bored Ape Yacht Club right now as a brand is very hot? I'm going to guess the majority of you would probably say, no, not right now, but like for argument's sake, there's been points when it's like the absolute talk of the town. Totally agree with that. And so what happens when you have super ultra rare collectibles, right? Not just digital ones, but physical ones that people want to put on the market? Do you look at it when things are super hot, or do you look at it when maybe there's a little bit lesser of an interest compared to when things are feeling a little frothy, if you will? I didn't even know these existed, but I got reminded of it. So Chris is considering selling their Bored Ape Yacht Club Apes vs. Mutants Grails. So what the hell exactly is that? Well, back in the day, a couple years ago, there was a mobile game, and it was actually really, really good. And they had a competition of just who could get the highest level within this like mobile game, that you had this character and then there was like action abilities that went around, and you're again just like in these little caves and you have to beat a boss and then you go to the next level. They had to stop like 2 or 3 days early because people were getting physically ill playing so much. There was a Honda car that the top player was able to get that was decked out as a mutant. We've looked at it before. And then some of the lower prizes were this, where they had a trippy hat, which is one of the rare traits for the digital collection. And what was the other one here? A Curtis plushie. So I'm curious what they're looking for on that. But is that something down the line that's going to be a grail? Sort of like this 2000 Pokemon Rocket Dark Charizard Holo First Edition, graded 9. So Legendary. So I treated myself to my favorite Charizard as a kid. The amount of feelings and nostalgia this evokes is hard to put into words. So that's great. I love that. Love that. And also, if you're looking at Pokemon cards, trying to find value, super easy thing. See if there's first edition in that left-hand corner. You're mooning, brother. So Pokemon's gotten a lot of traction over time. Rightfully so, I would say. But there's a lot of people that have different interests in things where, you know, going back to make the argument, I loved Digimon. Now, does Digimon ever come back? Well, maybe if there's some sort of founder, they bring it through Web3 elsewhere. Maybe they do like a new card game they have a card game. They have collectibles. I think it's big in Asia still, but it's not North America like at all. It's Pokemon or bust. And so if Legendary's over there going for Pokemon cards, I'm over here being like, when are we going to get Digimon? And then you are probably sitting there being like, all right, well, I hear those two options and I would pick this. everybody's got specific niches. And that's why I really think that every single brand is going to realize, holy crap, we got to just meet any of our audience wherever they are. And that just might be in digital collectibles. We've talked about Pump.fun. We've talked about how retail still doesn't really understand squat. Now let's use Tuah for a second. You know, the girl who's like, Tuah, whatever it is, right? Everybody knows. Whatever. So she decided to launch a meme coin. And throughout it, leading up to it, every person that was any sort of personality on X was responding to her posts about, I'm going to be doing a meme coin, being like, hello, can you not? Because you're going to screw this up. It's going to wreck your reputation, and this is going to go horribly. Of course, doesn't listen. Why would you do that? And she works with some dumbass team. They launch this token. Everything goes to hell. And then she basically falls off the face of the earth and is just ripped on for launching a crypto scam. Even though everybody within the industry is like, hey, listen, you're probably getting taken advantage of and you're going to screw these other people over and try to like connect with a team that has, you know, somewhat of a reputation or is able to do this in some sort of a proper way if you're wanting to, which we've seen the likes of Iggy Azalea, where she's come out and apparently now you can like buy a phone plan with her token and trying to add a little bit more to it. And I mean, obviously we get into the arguments if you want something that's just a meme, you want something that has actually some sort of utility. But I think for the Tuah token, like it was like straight up like a rug and just as bad as it could have gone. But now people are able to do it kind of in their own way, where the Pump.fun streaming platform, you just stream on it. And if you have an audience, people will pay attention and then potentially purchase the token. And I saw this on the timeline from Hantao. It says, as I have predicted, once again, normies know nothing about crypto or trenching. And they just mean like, you know, being on chain, like dealing with this, making huge gains, making huge losses, you know, you're in the trenches. Trenchers will ask for creators to show a contract address, post about tokens, and more to pump the price. True. So this individual who's got like 600,000 followers or something absolutely berserk called Yescalia, who was on Pump.fun, says this. Hey, everyone. I'm getting a lot of hate, criticism, and threats because of my stream earlier. There was a recent Facebook post where I've been accused of rug pulling, and comments have accused me of fraud. I did not think that streaming on this platform would have such a big effect, and I only saw this as an opportunity to learn how to do crypto and have fun and chat with you guys. I'm currently working to find a way to donate 70% of my creator rewards to charities. The other 30% will be bought back into the coin. This will all happen on my stream later. I want to make it clear also that I've never sold a single token and never planned to profit from anything. I take full accountability for the situation. I should have studied how crypto works before entering a Pump.fun. I never intended for this to happen. I really am sorry. So if I never intended this to happen, who told you, or why did you decide to go on a platform that like you stream to launch a token to bring attention to it, and then people are going to put their money in, and it's like, are you really like that clueless? And that's legitimately what the timeline is right now. People are hearing about things. Is this maybe the start of retail in quotes is back in? This feels a little bit weird, but I agree. There's so many people that have no idea how any of this works. Scott Melker guy saying, I don't think we're early anymore. Nah. A quick little reminder about all the token generated events that are coming up. I have no idea what check is. I have no idea what Mon is, but OpenSea token, the abstract token, they're re-bringing up the physical collectibles from earlier, and there's more that I don't even know. But the TGEs that are about to happen are absolutely insane. And with that being said, again, down in the link in the description below, we did have an absolutely phenomenal conversation with Travis John where we go in depth. We go through lists of these token generated events that are coming up and being like, okay, so like, are we trying to get ready for the wave? As these are all actual products are coming on stream, because it's not, you know, what we were talking about was not your, you know, thousands of meme coin launches every day. It's these protocol level infrastructure pieces that are launching a token. Where, and as an example, like this morning, I think Portals, the metaverse ecosystem on Solana, they token generated this morning, right? Everybody's doing it. It's nuts. Justin, US and UK to announce new crypto cooperation deal. So yesterday we go from like Europe, UK, whatever, having a limit on how much they can hold in stablecoins to now having a crypto cooperation deal. What the hell does that mean? Oh, Wormhole. Look at that. Another token generating event. And that is, happening tomorrow. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Here's the final headline that I'm going to leave you with again. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Would love for you guys to check out the podcast down in the link in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, or in my bio over on X. If you're able to share this with one friend, let them know. Be like, yo, the Schiller guy goes live every day, Monday through Friday, just to talk about the NFT space. Would love you for it. Most investors have zero allocation to crypto. The report comes from Bank of America. Most investors have zero allocation to crypto, coming from Bank of America. But Scott says that we're not early. Okay, buddy. Bank of America's September survey shows 67% of fund managers hold no crypto. Only small fractions allocate 2%, 4%, or 8%. The average allocation is just 0.4%. Overall, 84% haven't started structural crypto investments, while only 8% have. That's it for this edition of XFeed. Hope you're feeling some kind of way, because we are in for an interesting couple of months to end the year. Once again, thank you so much for coming on through. Mr. Pickle, JC, and Super Bowl. I'll catch you guys later. Have yourself a good one. Peace.